In certain moments, it turns out that you feel, well, with the friends in the common work or a request, you feel the kut, adhesion. What does it mean that we discover the letters of the Torah in the connection, as he says here?
Letters are discernments. Discernments. The Torah means light, the reforming light, the light which corrects us. When we discover the letters of the Torah, it means that we discover vessels thanks to the light which shines upon the will to receive. The light shines upon the corrupted will to receive. It corrects the will to receive. And the will to receive becomes from just a wreck, a mass of just useless material. It takes on different forms, shapes. Now, these shapes that the light makes of the will to receive, which are compatible with the desire to bestow of the light, by the light shining upon the will to receive begins to receive the letter, to take on the form of the letter Aleph, Bet, Gimel. Where did these letters come from? They came from the influence of the light upon the will to receive. The light, when it comes, because it's the opposite of the will to receive, it imprints on the will to receive its form, its own form. And the difference between these two things gives us the form of the letter. A letter is a sign, an indication, a special form, shape, a special shape of or form of the connection between the will to receive and the will to bestow, when they connect in a specific way. And so it follows that all of the letters we have in the Hebrew language are meant to reveal to us the connection between the will to receive and the light, which is the will to bestow, in the way where the vessel, the will to receive, can be similar to the will to bestow, if it takes upon a certain form, that is, a form of a certain letter. So we have the article about the letters in the Zohar, where the forms of the letters and the inner qualities of the letters are discussed, meaning what qualities, what forms of the will to receive. We have 22 letters, so 22 specific forms, and 5 special letters, mansepach, which are used at the end of words. So how can we express all of the qualities of the light using these letters? And it's a wonder, how could it be? Later he explains to us, the Zohar explains to us rather, how to express these letters through speech, how to vocalize them, right? We have a special way to vocalize each and every letter. To Sharatz, Gechi, they're divided into letters which, well, where you use the palate, the cheeks, the teeth, the tongue. So you have 5 groups of letters, 5 main groups of letters, according to the 5 Naranchai and the tip of the Yud, Shoresh Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, so on, all these divisions and subdivisions. And so we have these letters, and it says why and how the letters we vocalize are related to the letters that we write in a certain way, how they relate to the certain sounds we hear. When I say a certain letter, for example, you can hear it. How can it be that from the way I express it, the way I vocalize it, you can hear it through the air, right? And you begin to understand, and then you begin to attain how in such a way we can give each other our spiritual discernment, right? So how the Creator is clothed in these egoists who made sort of certain corrections on themselves. So there's one ego which becomes a little adapted to the Creator to a certain extent, and then it can relate that to another piece of ego which can also adopt that adaptation, and so that reaches the third part of the ego, and all these things through sounds, through writing, and verbally. And also we have that through painting, through music, through dancing. All these are 5 forms in which the will to receive can express itself or is expressed. They exist there in the connections between people, in the communication between people. We can learn that. It's also, those are also, that is a language, and it's a very special language. For example, the language of dance, not modern dance, but the way it simply comes from within the human body, which is built in a way specially adapted to the inner soul. Okay, there's a huge, big, it's a big aggregation of all the ways in which we are adapted to the Creator, compatible with the Creator. And when we achieve all these adaptations together, we reach the end of correction. We become similar to the Creator. And in that way, every single expression of ours is adapted to the Creator. The Creator is clothed in our love with His love, and it's called one receives the one, and we reach the end of correction. And that's how it works. But for the meanwhile, for the meantime, we are at the beginning of the path, and you can see that we're being worked with in a very intensive manner. So we need, throughout the day, throughout the night, as much as possible, all around the globe, to engage in connection between us. We need to try to connect together in such a way where we discover the power of bestowal, the mutual power of bestowal between us, to a small degree even, and in that degree, in that revelation, we reveal the Creator. So, me to the friend towards me, and between us, the Creator. We need to try and do that. And it's on our way. It's on the path. Yes. Vlad.
Скажите, пожалуйста, Раф, а вот если мы все-таки эту работу, вот как вы сказали, производим, и мы пытаемся...
And if, nevertheless, we do this work, as you're saying, we try to connect, we stumble upon all kinds of obstacles and disturbances, this actually builds these letters, if I understood it correctly. So is there any order to how we discover the letters? These come first, then something else. Is there some order in the revelation of the letters in us?
How you're asking if there's a certain order or not. How can it be that there's no order to things? Of course, how could it be? The order is very clear. It's there. It exists, and we need to work accordingly. Of course. Yes. How could it be that there would be anything that's not according to the order of the thought of creation? There's no such thing. Whatever happens to us, or rather, what happens to us, where we can go from A to B, or we can go from A to B through a very short process, or through many different processes. But we reach the same goal, ultimately. That's the thing. So the wisdom of Kabbalah explains to us how to change, not through blows, through a very long path called Beito, in due time, but rather through a short path, which is called Harishena, or hastening it. But of course we arrive at the end point, and everyone will return to his root. But we're talking about a short, pleasant path, pleasant to the Lord and pleasant to the human being.